What if I told you there's a man who fed 10,000 orphans for 60 years without ever asking anyone for money? His name was George Müller. Bristol, England, 1800s. No fundraising campaigns, no wealthy donors on speed dial, just prayer. And a ledger that documented every single provision down to the penny, down to the minute. Hebrews describes faith as the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things unseen. But for the modern skeptic, evidence requires data. It requires proof. That's exactly what you're about to hear. This isn't a collection of religious sentiment. This is a meticulously documented archive of specific interventions. Prayers where the need was absolute, the request was specific, and the answer was statistically impossible to ignore. Think about your own life right now. That bill you can't pay. That diagnosis you can't accept. That relationship you can't fix. What if prayer isn't just hope? What if it's a transaction? This is the wonders of prayer. Welcome to the evidence of things unseen. Before we dive into these authenticated accounts, let's define what we're actually examining. We often view prayer as a desperate whisper in the dark, a Hail Mary when logic fails. But consider it instead as something far more precise, the geometry of divine connection. It's the exact alignment of human necessity with infinite capability. This book isn't abstract theory. It's a ledger of fact. Specific instances where the ordinary laws of probability were suspended by a higher law of provision. From financial ruin averted at the 11th hour to physical healing beyond medical explanation, these are coordinates on a map of faith. Skeptics may claim coincidence, but when coincidences happen with mathematical precision, in direct response to specific requests at exact moments of need, that's not chance, that's architecture. We invite you to look past the mystery and see the mechanism, a sincere call, a listening ear, and a miraculous reply. Let's examine the blueprint. Prayer is often misunderstood as a desperate wish cast into the void. But true faith operates like a blueprint. It is structure, not chance. Throughout history, skeptics have dismissed answered prayers as mere coincidence. Yet, when coincidences occur with mathematical precision in response to specific pleas, at documented times, they form a foundation that cannot be ignored. Picture an architect designing a bridge. They don't hope gravity will hold it up. They calculate. They trust the laws. They build with certainty. The individuals in these records approach the divine the same way, not with hesitation, but with the certainty of an architect trusting gravity. These are stories of unexpected provisions, healed ailments, and diverted disasters. They remind us that faith is an active mechanism, not a passive emotion. So here's the question: is the architecture of your faith built to withstand the weight of the impossible? Let's find out. Picture a winter night in rural America. 1870s. A widow's cabin buried in snow. Her cupboard completely bare. Children crying from hunger. Her options, zero. She had no phone to call for help, no credit card, no neighbors within miles. The storm outside made travel impossible. What do you do when there's literally nothing left? She knelt down, set the table with empty plates, and thanked God for the food that wasn't there yet. Miles away, at that exact moment, a wealthy merchant felt something he couldn't explain. Sudden, overwhelming agitation, a divine prompting. He packed a basket of supplies and drove his sleigh through the blinding snow. He arrived at her door the very moment their prayer ended. The chapter also details missionaries stranded in deserts who found water in dry rocks, families on the brink of eviction who received anonymous gifts hours before foreclosure. The wilderness isn't a place of abandonment. It's a stage for miracles. When human resources fail, spiritual resources begin. Here's where it gets fascinating. When we talk about miraculous recovery, we picture a flash of light, some supernatural zap that defies biology. But what if true healing often works through our biology, not against it? Consider anxiety. Modern medicine tells us it tightens muscles, floods the body with cortisol, suppresses the immune system. Your body literally attacks itself under chronic stress. Now consider prayer. When you surrender control to a higher power, something measurable happens. Heart rate slows. Blood pressure drops. The parasympathetic nervous system, your body's natural healing mode, activates. The documented cases in this chapter show patients who, after prayer, experienced recoveries that baffled doctors. But here's the key. The miracle wasn't always a violation of natural law. It was the divine maximization of it. Faith became the catalyst that unlocked the body's own restorative powers. Think about that. The restoration of your spirit is intrinsically linked to the mending of your flesh. Prayer isn't just spiritual, it's physiological. Life frequently resembles a complex labyrinth. Dead ends, disorienting turns. You've been there. Maybe you're there right now. This chapter examines testimonies of people who, when confronted with impossible crossroads, stopped looking at the obstructing walls and started looking up. One account, a traveler lost in a desolate wilderness, storm approaching, no landmarks, panic rising. He stopped, surrendered his fear to prayer. Moments later, an inexplicable urge, not a voice, but a pull. He followed it to a hidden path of safety. But the maze isn't always physical, is it? Others in this record sought direction for failing businesses, custody battles, terminal diagnosis, the common thread. They refused to rely solely on human intuition. They paused. They listened. When we acknowledge the divine in all our ways, our paths are made straight. The shepherd's voice is often a whisper. You have to silence your internal chaos to hear it. What maze are you navigating today? In a world fraught with peril, mass shootings, pandemics, car accidents, where do you find real security? This chapter moves beyond requests for daily bread to urgent cries for physical preservation. Consider the lone traveler who changed his route because of an inexplicable sense of dread. Hours later, he learned bandits had ambushed the original road, or the family whose home was spared from a devouring wildfire while every neighbor's house burned. No explanation, just spared. Perhaps most moving, the soldier on the battlefield, bullets missing by inches. His mother, 5,000 miles away, on her knees at the exact moment of the firefight. These narratives suggest that prayer isn't merely a passive wish. It's an active, invisible armor. As we examine these records, consider this: faith might be the ultimate fortress against the unknown. If this is resonating with you, take a moment to like this video. Your click helps others find these stories when they need them most. Now we delve into something profound and costly: the burden of standing in the gap for someone else. Intercession isn't just a simple request, it's a labor of the soul. Picture a mother pleading for a wayward son. She feels his addiction as if it's pumping through her own veins. She bears his shame. His failures become hers. She prays not for days, but for years. Then the breakthrough. Or the friend praying for a loved one's healing when every doctor has given up. They carry the weight of hope when the patient has none left. These narratives teach us true prayer often requires deep, empathetic suffering. It's a burden voluntarily assumed, a heavy load that's only lifted when the answer comes. The intensity of the spiritual struggle often matches the magnitude of the resulting miracle. This is the hidden cost of the intercessor, a heart willing to break so that another might be made whole. Have you ever carried someone else's burden in prayer? Then you know exactly what I'm talking about. Addiction, gambling, alcoholism, pornography, depression. Some chains are invisible, but they're heavier than iron. This chapter chronicles a man who had lost everything to the bottle. His family gone, his dignity shattered, his hope dead. Human remedies had failed him repeatedly. Rehab, therapy, 12-step programs. He'd tried it all. Then, in the quiet desperation of a midnight prayer, he did something different. He didn't ask for strength. He asked for total surrender. The narrative describes a sudden physical sensation, heavy burden lifting, like chains snapping off. From that moment, the craving vanished. Not diminished, vanished, replaced by an inexplicable peace. Listen, when iron shackles bind the human will, the simple, earnest plea of faith holds the key. No chain is too strong for the power of prayer to break. Let me tell you about a man who thought prayer was a crutch for the weak. Strict logic, scientific method, empirical evidence only. He frequently challenged the local pastor, "Show me proof, real proof." One afternoon, he's standing in the pastor's office, arms crossed, skeptical smirk on his face, when a desperate mother rushes in. Her child, critically ill. Doctors, no hope. The skeptic watches, expecting disappointment. This should be good, he thinks. The pastor simply bows his head, prays for life to return. Moments later, messenger bursts in. The child's fever broke. At that exact minute, the room falls silent. The skeptic's arguments evaporate. His intellectual barriers crumble against the tangible reality of the event. That day, he didn't just witness a healing. He experienced the dismantling of his own doubt. Maybe you're the skeptic. Maybe you need your own surprise. So far, we've focused on individual petitions. But what happens when an entire community unites with a single purpose? Small agricultural town, Midwest America, 1930s Dust Bowl era. Crops withering, economy collapsing, families starving. They didn't turn to bitterness. They didn't riot. They convened a general assembly entire town for the sole purpose of prayer. Historical record states, the sun rose on a cloudless, parched morning. By afternoon, soaking rain that saved the region's economy. Meteorologists had predicted 0 chance of precipitation. These stories remind us, prayer isn't just a private retreat. It's a public force. When a community harmonizes its intent, the results often bring deliverance to an entire population. What would happen if your church, your neighborhood, your city united in prayer? Subscribe to this channel for more documented stories of faith in action. We release new content every week. Here, as a principle found throughout these records, the correlation between the exactness of a prayer and the clarity of its answer. Too often, our petitions remain vague. God, please help me. Lord, bless my finances. But the testimonies here suggest faith is most potent when it's specific. An orphanage director needed exactly $100 to pay a bill by noon. Not financial support, not provision. $100. By noon, minutes before the deadline, an unsolicited donation arrived. The exact amount. This chapter argues that vagueness often masks a lack of expectation. When we pray with precision, we define the parameters of our faith. We move from hoping for a coincidence to expecting a divine intervention. So here's your assignment. Stop praying general prayers. Get specific. Name the amount. State the deadline. Define the need. No detail is too small for God. Now we tackle the hardest part, the waiting. In the landscape of faith, the most rigorous test isn't the crisis itself. It's the silence that follows your prayer. You've offered up your urgent request. You've been specific. You've believed, and nothing. Days pass, weeks, months. The heavens seem like brass. Your faith starts to crack. I get it. We all do. But here's what these historical accounts reveal. A delay is not a denial. Silence is often a period of divine preparation, not absence. The records here show provisions arriving mere hours before financial ruin. Healings that occurred only after hope seemed lost. The timing of the answer was just as miraculous as the resolution itself. Enduring the delay builds spiritual muscle, deepens character, in ways instant gratification never could. If you're in a season of waiting today, take heart. The pause has a purpose. Your perseverance isn't in vain. It's laying the foundation for a breakthrough that is perfectly timed. Here's a critical dynamic most people miss: the gratitude loop. We view prayer as linear. We ask, gives hopefully, receive, transaction complete. But the most authenticated miracles in this record suggest something circular. The petition triggers the answer, but the thanksgiving triggers the depth of relationship. Without gratitude, the spiritual circuit remains incomplete. Remember the 10 lepers Jesus healed. Only one came back to say, "Thank you." And Jesus noticed, "Where are the other 9? This chapter examines testimonies where the petitioner returned, much like that one leper, to acknowledge the source. This isn't just manners, it cultivates fertile ground for future faith. When we document our blessings and voice appreciation, we're recharging our spiritual capacity. We move from desperation to confidence. So ask yourself, are you leaving your loops open, or are you sealing them with the power of gratitude? All right, we've journeyed through incredible historical records. We've witnessed how faith moved mountains for ordinary people. Now, it's your turn. For the next 7 days, I'm inviting you to keep a prayer ledger, just like George Müller did. Here's how it works. Days 1 to 2. Specificity. Don't ask for help. Ask for the exact resource. Write it down. Date it. Days 3 to 5. Watch and wait. After you pray, observe. Look for subtle alignments, unexpected conversations, strange timing. Document everything. Days 6 to 7. Review. Go back through your ledger. Mark every answer, big or small. Look for patterns. This isn't magic. It's about sharpening your perception of divine intervention. By the end of this week, you won't just believe in the wonders of prayer. You'll have your own authenticated record. Download the free Prayer Ledger template in the description below. As we close these pages, we're left with one undeniable truth. The record remains. We've journeyed through verified accounts of physical healing, financial provision, miraculous intervention. To the skeptic, a single instance might be dismissed. But when gathered together, this cloud of witnesses forms an unshakable foundation. These aren't fables from a forgotten age. They're authenticated experiences from real lives facing desperate circumstances. They remind us the line between the natural and the divine is thinner than we think. The power of prayer isn't limited by time, geography, or complexity. It rests solely on faith. The needs of humanity haven't changed, and neither has the source of our help. Let this record stand as a testament. When logic fails and resources run dry, the avenue of prayer remains open. The answers recorded here are an invitation not just to believe in history, but to write your own entry in the ongoing record of faith. We've journeyed together through incredible accounts. Men and women who dared to trust God when every logical sign pointed to the contrary. From George Müller's orphanages to desperate moments on battlefields, we've seen that the heavens are not silent. But this book isn't meant to be a dusty archive. It's an active invitation. The God who answered the prayers in these pages is the exact same God listening to you right now. He hasn't changed. His ear isn't heavy that it cannot hear. His arm isn't shortened that it cannot save. Now the pen is in your hand. What specific burden are you carrying today? What mountain needs moving? What miracle do you need? Don't just admire the faith of others. Exercise your own. Kneel down. Speak to the Father. Believe that He rewards those who diligently seek Him. The next great testimony of answered prayer hasn't been written yet, because it belongs to you. Go ahead, trust Him, and write your chapter today. Before you go, share this video with someone who needs hope right now. Drop a comment below. What's the one thing you're going to pray specifically for this week? Let's create a community of authenticated faith. Subscribe for more stories that prove prayer still works in 2025.